Hi, Kyle. It's Afie calling. How are you?
I'm well, man. How are you?
Pretty good.
So, all compliments at first. Earthtones, you've done it again, man. It's a fun record. It's a really
Thank
cool
you.
record. Yeah, I
Awesome. I'm glad you dig it.
yeah, I know part of the story here is this funk vibe that you've inserted, though I guess you've always sort of had that bubbling up more and more in your previous work. What made you say no, more of that?
I think a lot of it is just I'm listening to more and more modern music, more contemporary music, R&B and hip hop music, and just wanting to find some way to insert that rhythm and that energy into my music. I mean, I don't have any plans to make a hip hop record anytime soon, but I just like the way that those artists are able to sing about modernity and the time that we're living in. And I just kind of see my life reflected in that a lot more. So yeah, when it comes to modern music, I just sort of gravitate towards that stuff. And I don't know. I just thought, how do I do that? How can I insert that into my music? And it just seemed like the natural thing was to exaggerate all the stuff that I was already interested in, which is really just rhythm and groove and stuff. Just using the guitar to kind of like get the juices going that much deeper.
You totally hear that, and of course, Bad Boys Need Love Too, which the first time I hear it, I swore, I'd like, nope, that's not Bahamas. It's one of those, Spotify things where someone has the same
Right.
name or something. Like, that's not, oh, it is him. It is him?
Right. Oh, cool. Well, I was definitely kind of hoping to, take it to some other place there. But I guess, like, I've always kind of felt like I can, music is just really, it's just whatever I want it to be. And it should be that way. I don't think it's good for anybody if I just do the same thing over and over and over again. That seems to work for AC/DC and CCR and with a few other bands. But yeah, I'm interested in just exploring all different types of music, and a track like that is just like a pretty obvious departure from the folk stuff or something that I may have been doing 10 years ago.
And you said you wrote that in your car?
Yeah, I just don't have a whole lot of time to. I used to just sit in my apartment and just write songs. I would play guitar for hours and hours and hours, and then I would get like 20 or 30 minutes of something really special, and I would hone it and work on the lyrics and the arrangement, and really, especially for the previous record, that was very much arranged and pre-planned and thought out. And so now my life I just don't seem to have any time. So now I just write songs. If I have 5 minutes sitting in traffic, if I have an idea, I had that line, Bad Boys Need Love Too, and I thought that's kind of a neat idea. And I just started banging it out and singing into the air, and yeah, I sort of actively tried to just leave the chords alone. I didn't try and figure that out too much, and that way I could just go to the studio and allow the musicians to really just be themselves and come up with, much better ideas than I would.
Because it sounds like something that is tailor made for sitting in the car. Just
great.
Right. It's not like I wouldn't call it like the speeding down the highway song. It's definitely sort of the the slowly going or stuck in traffic song.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cruising tune. You kind of want to be just like some back roads, some back streets.
You'd mentioned like trying to do different things. Of course, there's that line in one of your other songs where you say, "I'm just repeating myself since I wrote Southern Drawl."
Yeah. It's just sort of a playful reference. It's a self-referential, I guess. But yeah, I just like there's a lot of what I do, just like going on tour and in some cases playing the same venues time and time again. There's some sort of Groundhog Day thing, and by and large, I'm very, very grateful. I get to have a life in music and art, and I get to work on cool stuff and play music with my friends. It's all very, very positive, but there are times when it just sort of seems like you're, like in a bit of a sort of cycle that you can't get out of, so that's all that is, just a little reference to that.
But there's got to be some frustration to that too. As you said, you're trying to sort of break out of your mold. You get to the point where you're several albums in, and and having that come to with you, like, how do I do something different? What do I do? Which is usually a really challenging thing for an artist to try to figure out how to move themselves more in that direction.
I guess I hear you. I would kind of disagree and just say that, like, it's more challenging for the industry, it seems, because artists don't have trouble being artists.
Mm-hmm.
Artists they'll be wild, and they'll left to their own devices, they will make art and they'll do interesting things. But then after, when you try and turn it into a product and you try and work with a larger team of people, that's when all the stuff about genre and marketing and how do we place artists. To me, in my experience, that's where it becomes more of an issue. It's like, well, we don't really know what to do with this because it doesn't fit into our pre-existing, slots that we have. So I don't know. That's kind of, to me, that's the fun part, because I just feel like my music doesn't really fit in anywhere. So in some ways, like, I just feel like that's a gift because that means it's unique, and that means that we're doing something that no one else is doing. And to me, that's an opportunity,
I know that part of the game too, having been on the label side and especially now being on the radio side. It's nice being here now because I do get those surprises, like, the first two singles coming through and being in love with them, and then hearing something like Bad Boys and going, once the shock wears off for a second, going, oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, it's all. There's context to it all. It's not. I don't think it's that far out. I'm still singing, and my voice and my spirit, everything's intact. So I mean, that's kind of the fun part. And I can say just from now, we've been playing a bunch of shows and playing it live. I mean, people are really responding to it. Singing along, and it's just like a track like that just ends up becoming a really important part of the set.
Well, I know the other important part of the story here is Pino Palladino and James Gadsden, which I'll admit that I know now that I've heard James on hundreds of things. Probably I wasn't familiar with his name as much as Pino, but when I saw the Palladino name on there, I think I shrieked a little bit, fanboy style.
Yeah, sure. Me too. I'm just a huge fan of his. Yeah, it's just a thrill working with those guys. They're so much more experienced. I mean, they're quite a bit older than I am, and they've just been doing it for a long time. And so they just have this quiet confidence and a very calm energy, and that's great for me just going into the studio, because then it just allows me to be calm and confident about what I have to do. And they just bring so much to the table. I mean, they play every type of music at such a high level. And I guess just thinking about my own tunes, like trying to make them as free of any sort of genre as possible. I mean, it's great to work with those guys because it really is just music, and they're sort of tapped into it in a really deep and ancient way. Mm-hmm. And they're just. We didn't discuss the strategy. We didn't discuss the approach. I mean, I really just started playing the songs. For Bad Boys, I mean, I just sat down at the drum kit and just sang it into the air, and that's how we recorded it, and then, we just went for it. So it was a very, very, I guess you could say, organic approach.
How did the step 2 part of that, I mean, did they lay down the grooves with you and then you take it to the rest of the band? Or was it just completed right there with them?
No, we did the bed tracks in Los Angeles, and then I did a lot of the overdubbing and stuff with my road band, and then I basically went right from that LA session on tour for 5 weeks, and we were in Europe, and I was so excited by the sessions in LA, and I was showing my road band all the tracks, and they were getting all excited. So we booked a studio in Prague, and we went in and recorded a few more songs, and they fit in so great with the album. I mean, it's almost seamless. It's hard to tell who played on what. And I mean, that's really just a testament to their level of musicianship too. They're definitely no slouches. They're right up there. I love playing with them too.
I also love knowing that this Pino and James kind of come along as a package deal, like Sly and Robbie.
Yeah, actually, they didn't know that each other was going to be on the session, which was kind of nice. So like when Pino walked into the room, James was just like so excited because they just love playing together, and I don't think they often get a chance to. So that was nice to be able to kind of bring them together for that.
Now I'll do the parent question here, because most new artists who are new parents get that question of if parenthood affected their work habit, but I get the sense that really your situation most definitely had an impact on the way you write and how much time you can devote. Which is, it's sort of interesting that here I think you've done your best record on top of that, that whole less thinking,
Absolutely.
whatever that mathematical equation is.
I totally agree. I mean, it's just, you just kind of have less time to second guess. So you're relying more on your instincts, and it's a really sort of confidence building process when you just go off of your instincts, because there's an immediacy to it, and it's nice to let go of the idea that I need all this infrastructure of time and a studio or a certain guitar or a certain setting to be able to be creative. It's so liberating to just realizing, well, music is with me all the time, and I can make music anywhere, and I don't need an instrument, and I don't need, anything specific. I just need to tap into my own musical mind. And I mean, honestly, that's been kind of the biggest revelation of this whole process, is just thinking like, wow, I've just unlocked a whole new world of music, and I'll be able to, this is going to serve me for the rest of my life. Like, I'll be able to write songs from here on out, like anywhere I want,
I will say though, seeing how you've incorporated, what you're listening to into this style here, and now that you do, now that you are a dad, there's going to be a time in the future where that kid starts listening to music, and it might be like Disney music or something like that. And, how's that going to affect that record?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff in our house now, a lot of Sesame Street, a lot of, we listen to a lot of good music, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. But, there's some Paw Patrol going on for sure.
All right, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you around.
Okay, thanks, Kyle.
All right,
bye.